So, seed pods, the way I make them, they're pretty easy. I'm gonna use this rose cutter set I have. You can use any kind of set cutters you have, round or teardrop. You just need 3 in a consecutive order. There's one we're going to bend the wire around, one we're going to pinch the top around to get this little point, and the third one we're going to make the cut out the gum paste. Alright, so I got my 3 sizes. I chose this bigger size just so you guys can see. As you can see, I make all different sizes, and I'll explain that too. So I'm going to take my wire, and I'm going to use 28 gauge. You don't want it too thin because it won't hold the gum paste piece, and you don't want it too thick because you don't want it too heavy. So try the 28 first and see how that works, depending on how big a seed pod you make. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take your 28 gauge wire, and you're going to put it around the middle size one. And bend it around. Let me move my fingers. But to avoid wasting a lot of wire, because you want some so you can attach it to the branch, pull it around a little to get the size. Let me see. So here, and then the rest, after you cut it off, you can make a smaller one, so you keep your extra size. So you want to bend it around your cutter and hold it pretty tight and twist. So you want to make sure the bottom is twisted tight. Either way, whether you twist it this way or with your finger. Then you're going to pop it off, and it's all twisted. And I'm going to cut it off right where the other wire is together. Then this one you'll just take, you can save this and make a smaller one the same way. So next I'm going to take my floral tape, and you want to tape it first because you don't want it to unravel. I've tried every which way. So you want to take a quarter width and stretch it and start at the very top. You want to make sure you cover that part because you don't want it to unravel. And I got Crisco on my fingers, so it might be a little to twist it. There we go. Then you want to tape down. It's a little hard getting it right up there. You just want to tape down and cover. Make sure you cover the very edge. That's where it starts to unravel. So next, we're going to put your wire aside. Now you're going to take the smaller one. You don't have to do this. If you want to keep your shape, it's a lot easier. If you just, sometimes I don't use this after I show it to you. So you want to take your smaller one and put it in there and pinch it around the top. Then take your pliers. I'm trying to show you and look at the same time. It's a little difficult. Pinch it and hold it with your pliers and twist it a little bit. But don't twist too much because I've popped them off. Then when you pop it out, it keeps this nice shape. And you could take your pliers and just pinch it a little. So there you have your shape still. Okay, so I have my piece. Now I'm going to roll out my gum paste. I'm using platinum paste today. It's actually better because it rolls super thin and it keeps it really light. So I'm going to knead it a little, and you want to add a little Crisco to your board because it helps stick the pieces together, because we're going to make 2 pieces and then stick them together. So roll it out. Oops. Roll it out pretty thin. And cut an extra piece, just in case one doesn't work. I probably won't have enough gum paste to do it, but... Okay. I'm just going to lift it so it doesn't stick. So I'm going to take the largest size and cut out 2 shapes. I don't have enough for an extra one. I would re-roll it, but... And then put the extra away. Then you're going to put them on your softening pad and flip the first one over, or flip them both over actually, so the bottom is facing up because you're going to end up putting them together. So you're going to lay them down. Am I still on the screen here? Oh, thanks. I might be able to pronounce your name right. Roweda says she can see clearly from South Africa. Yay! Thank you. Okay, so I forgot. So with your extra gum paste, you're going to roll little teeny balls, like 3 to 5 of them, real teeny, because they're going to go inside the seed pod. And they don't have to be anything special, just kind of pull them off. Make a couple extra because you never know. And make them all different size teeny. Okay, so there's 5. Now we're going to take our wire, and you can see it's smaller than the piece. And you're going to take your gum glue or egg white, whichever you use, and you want to brush it on. You want to make sure you brush it on both sides because it's got to stick pretty good. Go around here. You don't need to do that little top piece because we're going to cut around that. Okay, then you're going to lay it in there and press. And then put your little, I'm trying to get my fingers in there, balls in there. You could attach it with your gum glue, but you don't really have to. You just lay in there wherever they land. I did a couple. Thanks for people for joining. Okay, so now you're going to take your other piece and you're going to lay it right over the top piece. Sorry about my fingers. And then you're going to press. And make sure you press the little balls, but not completely flat. You want to have them a little showing a little. And press around the edge. Then you're going to take tiny scissors, and I'm not sure you can see it here, but the wire shows through. So you want to cut pretty close to the wire. You probably have to do it a couple times. I'm going to flip it over because I can see better this way. Trim it all pretty close. I'm going to trim a little more up here. Then again, you're going to pinch it around the edge so it sticks. And then kind of smooth it out. You don't want it too perfect. It's a seed pod. It's got to be a little rough. It's a little bigger here, so if you wanted to trim it more, after you squish it down, it probably get a little larger. You can re-trim it. But don't get too fussy. So now that we've attached it around the wire, now we're going to kind of rough it up. If you see on the ones that are done, they have little holes and little marks on it. It looks nice after you put all the color on. So you're going to take your scissors, or you can take a wire, a toothpick, whatever you're using, and cut little holes in the balls and poke through parts of your seed pod. Take your scissor and draw lines. Anything to make it look a little worn. You want to do it on both sides. You don't want to go too crazy, but give it a little worn look. So we have that. I'll cut a little more here. Then you don't want them all completely flat. You want to give them a little shape. So hold the top part and the base, and you can bend it up. And you can see how it curves it. And if you wanted to curve it around the edge, you can pull it up on the side. So some make curvy like this, and then some leave flat, just so you have a little variety. Then you're going to stick it in your styrofoam to dry. And that's pretty much how you make the seed pods. I think the coloring is what the best part, and it takes all the time. Alright, so here's my dry one I made yesterday. I made it just like the other one. And make sure everyone can see. And I have a lot of colors, only because I never know which ones I'm going to use. So I don't really always use all of them. Let's move my lids. When you make your seed pods, you can see the different colors. Just use subtle colors. You don't want anything really, really bright, unless you find one that you know that is really, really bright. And I'm just going to use 2 brushes. I'm just going to take a little out, so don't practice what I preach, right? Don't double dip in all these different colors. This one I'll use here. This was a bright one, so. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to use the one brush, and I also have a brush I use. It's really messed up. I use those on the pot seeds themselves because I like it all really smashed in there. So I'm going to start with some yellow. And just let me make sure I'm in here. And I'm just going to put it in different areas. You want to you're going to put green over all of it, but you want a little highlights going through. So put it in a couple areas and scrub it in there. Okay. Then I'll take a little of the orange. And put a little, just in a couple places. I'm not going to use pink this time, so I'm just going to use the yellow and the orange. Then I'm going to take the green. You want to go over all of it with the green. I kind of do it fast because it's, you just want it a little messy. Now you can start seeing the holes in the seed pods itself, and that's where you can put some of the brown. So I'm going to take, I have a chocolate brown here. I'm going to take this chocolate brown and use that messed up brush. And I'm going to go over those seed pods and just press in there. Nice dark circles. So there you have those. Then you can go back and take the dark green and go in different areas. Kind of blend it because you want to blend those little seed pods with it all. I'll leave a lot of orange right there. And this side's really dark green. You can go back. I'm going to take my lighter brush. Add a little more yellow. More orange to bits. Okay. So we have that. And now I'm going to paint on here. So I'm going to take my vodka or whatever, yeah. And I have this cup that I keep with, it's pretty much aubergine and brown. So you can use aubergine around the edge, or you can use dark brown. Anything, if you can see here, anything that's really dark. So I'm just going to pour a little of the vodka. Should get like a little squeeze top. You want it really thick. You don't want it too thin. So I'm just going to put a dot. And I have this brush I use that I chopped all the bristles off of. And over the markings that you did with the scissors, you can take your brush and just, let me put this closer. Go over those, even in the center of the dots. And again, you don't want to be too neat. You kind of want to just do it quickly. If you have your brush, if your brush has like a few bristles, it's a lot easier. And then I drew a long line, so I'm just going to flick a couple lines on it. Same on the other side. I made a line here. I'm going to follow that and add it to the holes that I made inside the seed pod. And a little couple of dots around the edges. So then the last thing you want to do is paint around the edge. And again, it's really thick. So I'm going to take it, and if it goes on the side, that's okay. That's why these are fast. They're not real precise. Okay. And then you're going to paint the tip. Let's see. All right. If you guys can see all this, might add a couple more dots right here. Then we're going to glaze it, and you can see how it transforms. So the colors are all green and yellow here. If you wanted to, and here's a little orange you can see popping through. When you glaze it, it really pops. So if you could, before you glaze it, you can change or add more colors. So I'm going to take my confectioner's glaze. I keep it in here, and it's really, really dark because I dip all my dark stuff in here. So I'm just going to pop it in. Spin it. And then you can see, if you can see here, the color is really, it comes through all the different shades of color. And that's pretty much how you make your seed pods. So you can just choose the colors you want, just make sure they're subtle. And the green could be a little dark, so it has a lot of contrast. So that's the whole bit. And I appreciate you guys watching. So just use the colors you have. Just pick out some nice colors and go from there.